Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another backtesting video. So we're in obviously the month of May, and we start off obviously by missing the trade and so on and so forth, but it's now it's time to really get locked in. You know, we're perfecting the rules. I'm looking to expand on certain rules, so I'm not becoming too restrictive in my approach, and we're gonna get after it. You know, we're not fearful of losses. We understand probabilities, and I understand that the probability of my models playing out is significantly higher than them not. So we're gonna get after it. We're gonna get this in, and we're gonna make some virtual money. Remember, the balance of at the low is incorrect. For some reason, there's a phantom trade of 54,000. I'm not too sure why. So disregard that. Currently, it's not there. So we obviously saw this displacement lower following the last session. There was nothing. I don't believe there was anything. I think if I recall, I said I wanted to wait until the session to see what was going to happen, and unfortunately nothing did. So let's venture out. Sorry, actually no. Let's move time on first. So 3 o'clock. So it's NFP the following day. So we've got to be a little careful. And as you guys know, and in my real life trading, if you will, I don't trade NFP. I tend to just take that day off. It's NFP and CPI, but for the purpose of this, we're going to see if we can frame some stuff. So we just want one more. Okay, so let's venture out to the daily, see where we are, and let's start marking up. We can get rid of that, and we can get rid of this. So let's get that back onto ES. There we go. Okay. So we do have a swing high here as well, following Wednesday's price action. And then we've obviously got this old low here, which you can see there was a very small purge there based on Thursday's price action, and that probably, let's just go to the hourly second. Occurred at 3 o'clock. Okay, so it was right at the end of the day. So I'm going to go back out to the daily. There is nothing to mark up that is meaningful to me. So okay, so we have got that high. We'll mark off the lows when we get to the lower time frame. Okay, and I just want to have a look at the weekly very quickly. Okay, so two things I want to just note now whilst we're here as we head into Friday. So daily outlook. So order flow. Now I'm focusing more so on the near-term order flow, not the macro order flow. So if we're looking at the daily, near term and the weekly is bearish near term. Okay, we can see that in terms of the support lower. Okay, so relative to the weekly and daily time frame, IOF remains bearish. Remains bearish following the high time frame displacement, which in terms of high time frame displacement, I'm referring to this impulse swing here. We can see that clear displacement. Okay, and there was SMT at that high as well. And if we take that, we obviously had this larger SMT, but let me just pop to the 4 hour a second. So we're looking at this high. So what have we got there? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's quite a big distance there. Anyway, let's sort of get back. Has a displacement lower, which was initiated by the high time frame Kraken correlation. Bearish fair value gaps are being repriced and rebalanced, whilst or being left unfilled, with the market showing a willingness to price lower. Okay. So if we look at this, was repriced and rebalanced. If we look at NQ up here, repriced and rebalanced as well. Okay. Potentially left unfilled on YM. Furthermore, old highs are being manipulated, whilst old lows are being displaced through. Okay, so that's supporting the near-term high time frame institutional order flow being bearish. Can always change with the violation of a premium PD array in the form of a SIBI being violated, or a close above an old high, like a displacement through. Okay, so ERL / RL. Now I'm doing these now because we're already on the higher time frame, so it makes perfect sense. And in terms of ERL, IRL, we obviously have the market traded up into this SIBI daily and rejected. So certainly in the crosshairs is the old low daily, right? Which also at the same time is where potentially Kraken correlation can have formed. But if we look at that, so the market traded up into the SIBI daily before rejecting lower, and closing below the open of the previous close candle, confirming the daily bullish OB, or let's just call it bearish OB daily, and supporting a continuation of lower prices to the high time frame drawn liquidity. Okay, so internal range liquidity to external range, that's what's looking very likely to occur currently. So now I'm going to drop to the 4 hour, and this is where we're going to obviously clean some stuff up. We've got this low here, which is the previous daily low. obviously we've got BPR here as well, which will annotate. But remember, this is CPI, so a lot of these key price levels could end up being null and void, or violated quickly, and so on and so forth. So what I want to do is I want to move this BPR down to here. Like so. Do the same thing here. And final one here. Okay. Now, in terms of there's a previous day's high in there, but it's going to be quite difficult just to mark all of these levels in there, but we know that there's a previous day's high in there. Okay, so we'll just use the highlighter for and we know that we've got this large SIBI here as well. Okay, so I'm going to mark this up. Okay. I don't think there's anything else to annotate there. No. We've all purged that H4 liquidity there. Okay. Okay. I think that's it for that. So now we're just going to go and have a look at SP. So I've noted the clean and clear swing points referencing the previous day's high and previous day's low, and which is where near-term liquidity would reside. The previous day's high and the previous day's high and previous day's low have formed either side of the true week open. Therefore, just one of those key price levels be purged. Coupled with a high time frame cracking correlation. This could support a high probability trade idea. Okay, so we've got key level up here, key level down here. But there are other options that we've got. So obviously near term we're bearish, higher time frame, so that presents further opportunities in terms of trade ideas. So TO, currently all IFT members are trading below their respective true week open, supporting the idea of potential higher prices if coupled by high time frame cracking correlation at the lows. But it's also doesn't mean that, you know, we can't see a continuation of lower prices. It doesn't mean that at all. Okay, so cracking correlation. So to me, we noted the cracking correlation at the lows, but it hasn't. I don't believe it's being confirmed. Let's just have a look. No, that's not confirmed. So we're just disregarding that for the time being. So currently there is no high time frame cracking correlation at play at present, which has not yet delivered to its objectives. Therefore, I will be waiting to identify a new high time frame cracking correlation before engaging the market. Okay, so game plans. So potentially at the lows, with the market being below the true week open, if there is a purge of the previous day's low and a couple with an high time frame cracking correlation brackets, ideally ES and NQ, this could support higher prices. So that would be one. Now, if the market was to leave that previous day's low in situ and trade up into the SIBI, okay, so if the market was to trade up into the SIBI, to the SIBI H4 and form an high time frame cracking correlation, either PDA or high time frame SMT, this could support lower prices. Okay, so two obvious models that I'd be looking for is probably one of those two. I wouldn't be looking for anything else. I don't believe. Let me just try and evaluate in my mind if there's anything else to consider. I don't believe that would be the case. The only other one, which it falls in line with game plan 1, is if we take out the previous day's low. Sorry, not previous day's low, the old low daily at the bottom. If we did that and had a cracking correlation there, that in itself could be the basis of a potential trade idea. So that would be another one. I'm just going to make a no. Okay. So let's drop down to the hourly time frame and see how that is looking, and let's get key price levels marked up. Get rid of that for now. Get rid of that because we've got the H4 BPR below price, so shouldn't be a reason to go up there unless we're going long. Okay, so let's enlarge and see what we've got here. Okay, so if we start from the highs and work our way down. So that level. Although that's just a H1 liquidity pool. I'll mark it up, but it's not as relevant as far as I'm concerned. But I will mark it up. It's not as relevant because it's not actually the session high. If it was the high of the session, then I would be looking at that more intensely. But as it's not, but it's still a liquidity pool, so we'll refer to it as such. So yeah, London. Let's just check Asia here. Okay, so got this Asia high. And we want to copy that across. There we go. Oh no, we haven't got an Asia high here. We've got a London high. And we want to get these London highs in. Now they are in close proximity to each other, but nonetheless, it's still important that we are intentional about our work, and therefore it's one of the areas that I certainly need to improve in, and so it's an area that I'm going to be religiously focused on. So I just want to drop out to the 4 hour because I want to just make sure that we don't have. That's not confirmed, so that's fine. It's not confirmed. Yeah, they're not confirmed. Okay. Right. So then at the lows, we obviously now have this London low. Okay. Okay. Now the H1 above it is not confirmed yet, so that's why we're not marking that up. Okay, so we've got the game plans in place. We've got 2 or 3, you could say. We obviously got NFP, so and unemployment rate as well. So we're looking at quite a high volatile 8:30 period. So again, we'll just wait till equities open for the market to stabilize a little bit. That's not to say that we're going to get an opportunity. It's not any of that sort of stuff. I'm going to be focusing on the hourly time frame. Focus on the hourly. We're going to crack on now. I'm going to have a bit of coffee first. And let's go. So I'm typically conservative. If I'm trading NFP, I'm extremely conservative. But let's see what happens here. So we can see that NQ has purged London low. ES and YM not so yet. So we wouldn't mind to have a clue as to which way the market is potentially going to go. So we're keeping an eye on the time. It's 8 o'clock now. So we have low time frame SMT here. So we're just gonna, let's just be, like I said, let's be intentional about our work. Okay. Not ideal in terms of visibility of that, but nonetheless. Okay. So I'm going to continue till just before 8:30. Want to see how the market responds. Okay. Right. So now I'm going to switch down to the 1 minute. I know it's on the hourly, but we're going to switch to the 1 minute. Give me a second. Okay, and we're back in business. So, okay, coffee finished. So let's step into this now. We're gonna, so its next candle will be NFP and unemployment rate and the average hourly earnings. So the market has is repriced higher. I was hoping to see a purge at the lows, but we haven't. So let's see what we get. So we've seen a rejection. All of them traded above their. Let's just go out to the H4. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, 2 till 6. So I think that was purge higher, purge lower. We may see bullish price action incoming, potentially, but we'll just want to have a look at the 2 o'clock candle. Yeah, so that would have, yeah, okay. Then low. And where's the news candle? It's this one here. So purge high, purge low. We should see an expansion higher, I would have thought, but we'll see. Could well be wrong. I would have loved to have seen the lows get taken, that much I can tell you. So now it's, yeah, looking like certainly hourly flipped flip bullish. Let's see what transpires. It's not moving. I've got to admit, the market is moving. It's traded all the way back down after purging the AR on, you know, you could argue on all of them. Thank you, going to purge the lows. Very much looking like that. So coming to the 9 o'clock candle. Oh, there's a push. So 9 o'clock. So we're approaching equities open. So now I am going to just taking the liquidity below London. Sorry, just bear with me a second. Okay, just gonna grab a drink. Okay, so I've just dropped down to the 15-minute just because it gives a better vantage point in terms of when equities open and various other things are going to occur. Just gives us a better vantage point. So let's purge the daily. So NQ has purged the daily low, but let's continue. It's a very shallow purge. I would have anticipated something a little bit more deeper, but we're not at equities open yet, so we'll see if. Just want to go back out to the 4 hour again. Just want to have a quick look at what's transpiring. Well, interestingly, let's go back to the hourly. News candle is this one here. What happened? Traded up. Pretty much purged everything above. If we look at the 4 hour, this news candle here has purged everything above. So if you look at this candle, purge everything above, and now taken out the low. But in actual fact, it may have taken out the low. No. This is the low now. Apologies. Okay, so let's just go back to the 15 and continue with what's occurring. As we approach equities open, hold on. So we've got balance price. all the way there. So 10 minutes from equities open. And YM has made a beeline lower. Interesting. Okay, so relative to the 4 hour, I just want to note I'm not really keen on anything here. I know I mentioned the daily, but obviously we had that preemptive purge. I think we want to see a little bit more from price. That's significant. So, ooh. Okay, it's very. I think it's very clear now that we are repricing lower. Interesting. Now, what I wanted to see was the markets trade up into the SIBI, but as you can see, that none of them did. Therefore, it's not something that I would engage, and they all are looking very likely to go and purge their lows now. So it looks as though, yeah, so they've all purged the previous day's low. So now for me, I wouldn't be looking to engage in anything. Although, that being said, there's still an opportunity because of the old low daily, which was purged and hasn't been purged on the others. So let's continue on and see. What happens. I would envisage that they're all going to trade through that key price level, but you never know. NQ's already purged its YM and ES are closing in on theirs. Just going to jump out to the hourly, have a look at what's going on here. Could see a move to the data highs potentially if we get cracking correlation, but would need to see something. Let's continue. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so no displacement yet on ES. So we'd be looking at this OB here, if we had one. Okay. Ultimately, when you, sorry, let me just jump out to the 4 hour. So we're looking at this here. Okay. and we're looking at this deeper purge there. Okay, and then we've obviously got YM as well. So I'm dropping down to looking at this here, looking at the M5. Not seeing any displacement yet. Yeah, there's no, let's see, no inversion, no balance price range. Yes, we've got the SIBI here. We've got a inversion there, potentially. Which would be this one here, which obviously we can see that NQ has traded above. Sorry, that's M5. Do apologize. That's M5. The 15-minute is extremely large. So let's, yeah, this is certainly gone, and it certainly looks as though now it's going to target that data high, which are these here. NQ is certainly almost there. Doesn't look like we're getting much by way of opportunity. I think prices unfortunately expanded far enough away where now we've got this. Now we've got the SIBI, but the question would be, where would we position a stop loss? It's quite high. This, in essence, here is a BPR. If we took that there, we could say, well, could say that. No BPR here, but we have got a BPR up there. Would want to go out to, so that's on the 5 minute. Looking at the 15, we've pretty much closed in that SIBI to suggest that we're going higher. Pretty much almost trading above. I just want to go to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour has not confirmed any but the low of the SIBI would be probably the key price level that would really take our interest. What do I want here? Let's have a look. So with this, where would it need to trade up to? At least the SIBI before potentially seeing lower prices. So is that worth counter trend trade is the question, because now we've got the BPR, and it is a 5-minute BPR. I mean, I would say it's a 5-minute BPR. We're not leaving much meat on the bone. I mean, we could potentially do something along these lines. So we've had the we could do something, but look at sorry, to there and that to there. Just bear me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. You know, that's 1.5R if we wanted to get involved there. With the BPR here, in theory, price shouldn't trade back below here. We've had daily purge, daily SMT. To me, it seems to be worth a half risk. It's not. Sorry, if we just go out to the hourly, we can mark the hourly key price level, which. Sorry, what I'm going to do is we're just going to get rid of that. That's been purged. We just don't want to have too many lines in this area here. It just makes it a little bit difficult to read. Okay, so we'd be looking at this would be the hourly order block if the market was to close above here. So we'll just make a note of that. Which would be that key price level, and on here would be this key price level. So the question would be, I think it's worth a half risk trade. I think it's worth a half risk trade. That I just want to quickly analyze. If we looked at that, yeah. If the market traded and closed below the balance price range, then it's pretty safe to say we're offside, right? It's pretty safe to say. But I do think it's potentially worth a trade up to the data high, at least. We can extend that to 2R. However, let's just go here. The question here is, do we close above that hourly candle? If we don't, then you know we're likely to take a loss. But I think it's worth a small trade. Just want to bring these in a little bit. Because ultimately it does meet our criteria. And because it does, it's certainly worth the trade. The question is the stop loss in an appropriate position? That's probably more of a difficult one. What the hell's going on here? What? Okay. So we want to go at 50% risk. We're going to go with a market order. I think everything is about right. I sell there. Okay. We're going to save and journal. Just going to move this to another screen just because I don't want it getting in the way. So we are taking this counter trend position. On reduced risk. We've got SMT at the lows, following a symmetrical purge of the previous day's low, and we have low time frame confluences aligned. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a logical trade to take. We'll see what transpires. I'm going to go to the 5 minute just because I want to see what reactions we get in here. Okay, just want to see what we get. The BPR is going to be key. If we trade through the BPR, then we could be offside. Want to see that close above. It's not looking good. We'll accept the risk. You know, this could be moved down to this swing low, but the reality is if we start to do that, I'd rather just take the loss. If we start to do that, then we're just opening up our risk, and you know, the trade doesn't become as favorable. It's certainly looking less likely right now. The interesting thing is, I mean, yes, we have SMT there, you could argue, with this high there and a rejection. I just want to go to the hourly. Yeah, I mean, okay, not ideal. I think it's likely going to continue lower. It's definitely going to continue lower now. Yeah, okay. So, unfortunately, lost there. Not great. It was worth taking the trade, but I think in hindsight, with the move higher, you know, it's one of those. It'll be interesting to see what transpires. I'm just going to quickly journal that. Let's edit that. Let's take a picture of that. And we save it. So not ideal. Let's get rid of this. Was hoping to see the market trade up to the highs. I think this is probably one of the reasons why one of my rules is that you take the trade on the hourly. So, you know, not ideal. But let's see. So it actually, oh god, lo and behold, it traded all the way back to the entry. That is massively annoying. have this. Let's have a look at this note. So we had. Oh, sorry, I want to come off the 5 minute. A second. Traded and rejected from there. Model is still active. I mean, in hindsight, we should, you know, wait for that tag. We've had the tag. I think that trade is still very much still very much valid. So we're going to go in now with a far better positioning of the trade. Sorry, let me just check that again. Okay. We're going to go in with that. This will be our 2 trade. If we are out, we're out. We'll see what happens. Let's stick on the 15 minute. We like that. I think I'm going to bring everything up to this swing low. I know about my entries there, but I want to reduce some risk. This could come back and, you know, hurt. Right, so let's just venture out to the hourly. I think the so we got involved. Right, so let's just we know what we're targeting, so let's just do that. And I just want to see the next candle. Okay. I think I'm happy to... No. I think we're going to... What time is it? 47. I'm just monitoring the others. That's the obvious liquidity pool above the marketplace that, you know, I'd want to anticipate that we're going to trade towards, but, you know. Okay, I'm going to move this to break even, and if it comes back and takes me out, it comes back and takes... Actually, no, I'm not. We're gonna stick to this. I'm gonna wait for the candle to close. If this candle closes, then I'll move the stop loss once this candle's closed. so far, not bloody good. That's better. So I'm monitoring NQ. I just want to see. ES has traded above this high. NQ hasn't yet. We've got about. Okay. Now I am going to move it here below this low. Okay. And then okay, perfect. Okay, so it's certainly looking as though markets are heading towards those highs. True week open could well be a good draw here. I'm just watching NQ as well. It certainly looks as though they're heading towards the liquidity pool, so just monitoring that. I don't want this to retrace all the way back on me, but if we're looking at, you know, okay, well, if we get rid of this M5 BPR, okay, and we look at that, I mean, I think my stop loss is appropriately positioned, and there's nothing really to look to do from that perspective. Naturally, I want to see a push higher. I don't like all of that, I must admit. 11 o'clock, so we're appropriately positioned. I'm looking at NQ, and one of the things I'm watching on NQ is this gap here. So if we just mark that out on the M15, which is an inversion. Again, you know me, I'm not a fan of inversion fair value gaps. But I am monitoring that. I want to see, do we close below it? That's not a good candle. That would certainly suggest that we are coming back the way, but I can't understand why, because it certainly appears as though we're seeking liquidity above the market. So that's a pretty good candle. Now we've got this imbalance here, which the market could trade back to. So what I want to do is, this is 2.15. Where's 1R approximately? One R is approximately there. Okay, I want to see this high get closed above. Okay, that's what I'm looking to monitor next. Does that high get closed above? Which is looking more likely now. Just going to don't want it to really come back to the inversion fair value gap. I'm looking at NQ, and NQ is looking significantly higher here. So I'm going to move this stop loss now into approximately 1R. And then we're going to let this thing ride and see what happens. So NQ is very close to its level. I think one more and NQ's through. Perfect. 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 And probably likely to go a little bit higher. So we managed to turn around the loss, and I think the lesson there is the fact that, again, if you've got certain rules, my rule is the order block. The order block would have been the best entry position, and unfortunately I missed that, but I got back in because I knew that the trade idea, counter trend, remember what I had said, that if it's a counter trend position, I'm only looking for one specific model. Well, that was the model. The model presented itself, probably a bit of impatience, you could say, and ill discipline to an extent, is why I took the trade early, or should I say early, late in the move. And when I got taken out for a loss, I knew the trade idea was still there, and all the lower time frame confluences were still very much valid. Excuse me. Therefore, the trade was still in play. It hadn't reached any invalidation levels. Yes, it was counter, but we had strong confluences because we had a symmetrical purge below the previous daily low, and then we had the high time frame cracking correlation, or high time frame SMT, against an older low from the same week. So I'm looking at that. We're looking at the confluences, and it supports the trade higher. So I'm happy to get back in. Yes, there was an element of doubt, but I was happy to get back in. And again, remember what I'd said, that we're looking to be far more positive now moving forward. So we've taken the trade, and it's panned out. I think it was in the end 2.15, somewhere there, 2.15, 2.16. So really good trade, really happy with that. Yes, we took it on reduced risk. The reason why I did that was because I took the trade earlier that had, unfortunately, there was a loser. Had I not taken that trade and waited for the optimal position to get into this trade, then I would have been probably more, I would say, satisfied to take the trade at 1R. So unfortunate from that perspective, but positive nonetheless that we engaged the market and we participated. So I'm going to leave this one here. Hopefully you guys have taken something away from this. You enjoyed this episode. An element of risk, loss mitigation, if you will. So we ended up the session plus $888, which is no bad thing, bearing in mind that we were $750 in the hole. So really good trade there. So I think it was around 1,600 or so. Really good trade. In fact, let me kind of show you guys that. So remember, disregard the 54,000 erroneous funny trade. That one there shouldn't be in the system. Don't know why it is. But 1630, 880 on the day. Really happy with that. I'm just going to update that trade. So I'm going to say the market came down to my optimal entry position of the bullish high probability order block M15. Engaged the market as the trade had not hit any invalidation levels, and the low time frame confluences still supported the trade idea. Okay, so really happy with that one. Going to save that. So yeah, plus 880, as you can see here with those two trades. So happy with that. So going to leave this one here. As I said, hopefully you guys have taken something away from that. And again, if you've enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed this this session, please give the video a thumbs up. Really would appreciate that for your engagement and listening to me for an hour and 10 minutes or so. Must be hard work. And if you enjoy the content, please feel free to give the channel, subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate and welcome your support on the channel, and look forward to engaging with you guys in the near future. So I'm going to leave this one here. Hopefully you enjoyed, and guys, I'll catch you in the next one.